Welcome to Subramani. A few days back, I did a video saying your own behavior is far more important than all the analysis that you do, all the blogs that you read, all the videos that you watch, right? Nothing that I do will have a great impact on you the way something like FOMO has. So let us say you have just or come out of a meeting where you find one guy who is a technology investor, venture capitalist based in Silicon Valley, who comes and tells you what is happening in technology and what is going to be the impact of technology, etc. So you think, oh my God, I should invest in the Magnificent Seven, right? So they are the best application of technology, whether it is Apple or Microsoft or any of those companies, right? So that is the immediate reaction. The other reaction is to sit tight and say, yes, I know technology is going to have an impact on our lives. We are overestimating the impact of technology in the short run. We are underestimating the impact of technology in the long run. I know I have invested in a nice diversified group of companies and mutual funds, and when there is some change is required in the portfolio, I've invested in, say, an American fund, and when some change is required in the portfolio, it is for the fund manager to make, not for me to make. But what has happened is there is suddenly that FOMO saying, oh my God, maybe my fund manager is not getting it right. Maybe I should invest in one of the seven at least. Let me at least buy Microsoft. Maybe Microsoft is the cheapest. Maybe let me just buy some more shares of Apple, right? Or I say, look, there is somebody called Mr. Warren Buffett who runs a company called Berkshire Hathaway. I have already invested in Berkshire Hathaway. So whatever changes have to be made will be made by Berkshire Hathaway, right? I don't need to make any changes myself. But this FOMO saying maybe my fund manager is not weighting it enough, maybe I need to have more weight, so therefore I go and buy, and after a day to 5 days I've forgotten what I did. And then when I see an impact, maybe there is no impact on what I did, maybe there is an impact of getting slightly better returns, and I say, look, I did this and I'm so smart, right? But you've no clue what would have happened if you had invested in a technology ETF based out of US. Maybe you would have got better return, but that data point is not available to you, right? So largely we get carried away by our fear and missed opportunities, saying, oh my God, I would have missed this. Are we willing to bet the house on it? Answer is no. On a 5 crore portfolio, if you do make a change of 5 lakhs, right, 1% of your portfolio, and it were really to do well, and you got a 3% alpha, right, which is a very high number, that is still 15,000 rupees, right? Would it really matter on a 5 crore portfolio? Would 30,000 rupees matter on a 10 crore portfolio? Answer is no. But what happens is when you go there and you meet somebody and he tells you or she tells you that this is what is going to happen, you think, wow, I've understood exactly what is going to happen. I know exactly what is going to happen in the next quarterly earning of such a huge company like Microsoft, and I have to buy shares of Microsoft. Why am I giving you US examples? Because I don't want to give you Indian examples. But largely it is just anything you go and buy, you go and see some, you sit in an airport for half an hour, find the number of planes taking off and say, oh my God, this is booming, so I should go and buy some airline stock. Not necessary. Maybe you are invested in the fund is already doing it. Maybe the best fertilizer company is already in your portfolio. Maybe the best bank is already in your portfolio. So let me give you a banking example. My pick in my portfolio over the last 10 years would have been always HDFC Limited, HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, State Bank of India, and then some miscellaneous bank, could be Bank of Baroda, Equitas, things like that. And in the NBFC, it had to be Cholamandalam, it had to be Sundaram Finance, right? So 2-3 companies, that's it. NBFC, my list is very small. I know when somebody comes and tells me this NBFC is good or this bank is good, I look at it and I say, is there something which this bank can do which my existing banks are not doing? Is there something which this bank can do which HDFC Bank is not doing, which ICICI Bank can't do, which State Bank of India can't do? If the answer is no, I just don't go that side. I look at my banking portfolio and say, okay, this is good. Apart from this, whenever I invest in any mutual fund, I'm getting a little bit of banking, that's enough. So you have to know that the best company may already be there in your portfolio. The best fertilizer company in India may be Coromandel International. I've been holding this since 1986. Yes, I have traded in, traded out. 2007 I was out, 2008 I was in. All those things may have happened, right? But the question is, it's my core holding, it is there, it does not go away. So same thing for a Bharti Tele, right? My entry point would have been 30, 80. This is, I'm talking a pre-split, pre-bonus, whatever. I don't even remember what has happened. I have sold, I have bought, I have done things, but I have always held, saying I know that this has to be core to my portfolio, whether it is steel, whether it is banking, whether it is airline, whether it is airports, right? Many of these things are core, or your staples, your Colgate, your HUL, your Siemens, ABB. These have just been there in my portfolio for a long time. I look at it and say, do I need to make any change? So when Yes Bank came out with an IPO recently at 12 rupees, recently would still mean pre-COVID, so 4-5 years back, I said if HDFC and SBI can buy the share at 12 rupees, it can't be too bad at 8 rupees or 9 rupees. From there my money has doubled, and I do think it has got potential, because one question you ask in the bank is, can there be a run on a bank? Can there be a run on a bank owned by SBI and HDFC? In my mind, no. Will it do the basics right? Answer is yes. Is there something which this bank can do which an HDFC bank, an ICICI bank or a State Bank of India can't do? Maybe it can attract people who will be attracted by the ESOP and come there and something like that. But is there something dramatic which they are going to do? No. So what is the attraction? The attraction is the price and the fact that I can hold for a long time. So my appetite for risk is high. So therefore I can hold for a long time. So I have bought it 8-9 rupees, and I think I'll exit as and when time comes, because the promoters are strong. I'm sure one day it will do well. Similarly, when I look at any business, I say, can I give it a 10-year runway? Can I keep buying more of it if it goes down? Can I buy more of it if it goes up? Am I mentally disciplined enough to do that? If the answer is yes, I don't mind buying it in my portfolio. But it has to pass one test. If the best company is already there in your portfolio, there is no reason to buy more of the same industry unless that company is doing something dramatically different, right? So if you are holding Indian Hotels, Mahindra Holiday Resorts and Thomas Cook have a completely different business model. It's not to say, oh, I have Indian Hotels, I don't need to buy Thomas Cook, or I have Mahindra Holiday Resorts, so I will not buy Thomas Cook. Maybe very similar models, right? So because Thomas Cook is part, Sterling Resorts is now part of Thomas Cook, right? So some of these things you look at, and some of these things you say, okay, I don't need to. Is there any evidence that this share is worth buying? Answer maybe no. If I have got 30% CAGR over the last 3 years, is it a good time to get rid of it and buy something else? Maybe yes, if the weightage of this is increasing in your portfolio. So for me, when it becomes 10% of my portfolio, I panic. But there are shares which are 30% of my portfolio, especially in my wife's portfolio, where I'm not panicking, because I think the earnings are growing and the PE is also developing, because their shareholder base is getting broad based. So some of these things happen. So you make rules, you live by some rules, and sometimes you say, okay, this is the rule which I am breaking, and I know why I am breaking that rule, right? So investing is a difficult process, but it also means that lot of times you look for evidence and to fight your fear. You say, no, this is not a time to be buying. No, this is a time to be removing some money from this asset class because it's doing very well. It is some, and looking at role of luck in saying, okay, in 2020 I didn't panic, I bought, and therefore I'm benefiting in 2023 because the PE has changed dramatically. Will again in the next 3 years PE change so dramatically on the upside? Answer is maybe no. So should you go into multi-asset class? Maybe yes, because from a taxation point of view, a multi-asset class is better than going into a debt fund or into a gold fund, right? So many of these questions and answers is something which you have to find yourself, and a very important thing is to say no to fresh opportunities which will keep coming, saying that I already have it. and I don't need it. My asset allocation is already done. I don't have more appetite for equity. If anything, I will put into a multi-asset or a balance advantage fund simply for taxation purposes, and not into a debt fund, even though I'm 90% in equity, right? We all talk about asset allocation. I don't do asset allocation. I talk about it, and I believe I don't need to do asset allocation. I'm already 90% in equity, and I will stay there. The balance 10% will take care of the next 10 years of my life, or maybe next 15 years of my life, and I can live with that asset allocation. Is it good for you? Maybe not. Am I giving this as an advice? No, but I'm saying that we will do foolish things. Sometimes we benefit, sometimes we lose, sometimes we think that is strategy, sometimes we know it is strategy, and sometimes it is luck which holds us through. So don't underestimate the role of luck. Thank you.